What is up, everybody? My name is Nick, and welcome to my brand new channel, Hardwater Propagation. For the first video, I wanted to talk to you about the planning process of setting up an aquarium. Whether it's your first aquarium and you're just entering the hobby, or if you're an aquarist who's just gotten a touch of the multiple tank syndrome and you're expanding your collection. Now, I'm no expert by any means. I'm an incredibly average fish keeper at best. But I do think that I can offer some insights and some experience that'll be helpful for hobbyists. And ultimately, that is the goal of starting this channel, is to contribute to education and ease of entry for folks looking to get into aquariums and fish keeping. The first item I want to talk about may seem obvious, but it is critically important, and that is understanding and considering your limiting factors. When it comes to things like space, time, budget, materials, what are you working with? As far as space, do you have a countertop or a small stand, or do you have space for a 100-gallon aquarium? How much time are you going to be willing to truly dedicate to ongoing maintenance? What kind of budget are you working with? Are you looking at buying all brand new gear and materials, or are we looking at the marketplace to try to find a deal? And I see a lot of times where some folks just already have some materials and they're looking to see how to make that work. Hey, my friend gave me a 55-gallon. My grandma had a 10-gallon tank. Do you already have a tank or a fish that you need to kind of make your plans around? Start with that baseline and really determine what it is that you're working with. Another critical factor is to test your tap water early on and understand the water parameters that you're working with. Understanding right away if you've got really hard or really soft water will help you to decide whether or not you're going to want to chase water parameters, if there's a certain kind of fish that has a requirement for a certain kind of water type, or if you're going to work around the water type that you have naturally coming from the tap. That leads us into the next factor here, and that really is determining the level of difficulty and effort that you're willing to commit to and that you're going to support long term. There's no such thing as a no maintenance or a maintenance free aquarium, but you can determine how much maintenance and effort is required to support the aquarium to a certain extent. You will need to understand, at least at a very high level, the nitrogen cycle and how to provide a safe environment for your fish. But how much more complex you want to make it from there is really up to you. Do you want a low tech or low maintenance tank? If so, you can keep a small bio load with fewer fish, or on the other hand, there might be a very specific fish or plant that you're wanting to keep, but that might mean that you have to chase water parameters, and that's not what's coming out of your tap. So you have to really look at it and decide what you're willing to maintain over the long term and what's going to bring you joy in the hobby. My next tip is to find multiple trusted resources. Find informed YouTubers you enjoy, trustworthy web pages that you can follow and refer to with your questions. Many experienced fish keepers will be in the chats on live streams all throughout the week where you can ask questions about your specific situation. Always be weary of anyone telling you that there's only one right way to do just about anything in the hobby. This hobby is all about variables. Also, look out for all the videos that say, the best this, the best that, the best filter, the best substrate. A lot of that is all going to depend on your particular situation. Fish keeping is all about variables and managing the different factors involved with your unique situation. What works for other people may not always work for you. I personally can't keep a Java fern alive, and it makes me crazy that everybody says they're bulletproof and you can't kill them. I can kill them. And that sort of thing can drive you crazy. But I know why I struggle with that plant now, because I understand my water parameters. The next thing to consider is where you'll be getting your fish. A lot of people leave the hobby in frustration because the goldfish that they won at the county fair or the fish that they bought at the local big box store didn't last very long, and they get convinced that they can't keep fish alive. The reality of the situation is a lot of fish that go through a standard supply chain have gone through a very stressful experience, and a lot of fish that are being sold at big box stores, unfortunately, are not the healthiest. Whenever possible, I would try to support your local fish shop, and don't be afraid to look at online options. Now, there are some poor online options for sure, but locations like Dan's Fish, Imperial Tropicals, the Wet Spot really are kind of the gold standard for animal husbandry, and put a lot of care and time into their shipping to make sure that you receive the healthiest fish that you possibly can. And my last piece of advice for everybody here is patience. Patience is key. Even when everything is in place and there's no obstacles in the way, things will take time to develop in this hobby. Sometimes you're not going to have the budget to do all the things that you want to do all at once. If you're starting a planted tank and you have something over a 40-gallon, unless you've got a lot of money to throw at it, you're probably not going to have a lush planted tank right away. I'm sorry to tell you that. I bought $100 worth of plants and put them in a 55-gallon, and it looked like there was nothing in there. That was a little disappointing. Plants are going to melt back, and they're going to take some time to grow back. Some fish, like rainbow fish in particular, will take a very long time to mature into their full, beautiful colors. And even in general, a tank takes time to get cycled and then eventually become a seasoned tank. This is not an instant gratification hobby very often anyways. You have to be patient, and my dog is being impatient outside my door right now. Oh, hi, buddy. What? Okay, okay. So make a plan, have a vision, and be patient as you work through it. You're not going to be an expert in all the niches involved in the hobby, but be patient, do your research, and set yourself up for success as best you can. This should be a rewarding and stress relieving hobby, but it can be a stressor at times if you let it. I hope some of these tips were helpful for those of you that are looking into getting into the aquarium hobby and setting up your very first tank, or for those of you who may have an aquarium and are looking to branch out, set up some additional tanks, and keep some other types of fish. Please feel free to leave any kind of comments with any questions or tips for me even, and thanks for checking out the channel.